If you're looking to lose anywhere between 5 to 15 kg this year, stick around. I'm going to show you exactly how you can achieve that step by step. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I get my clients to lose about 7 kgs in a span of 12 weeks. Now, the steps I'm going to show you can be applied to other weights than 7 kg, higher or lower, entirely up to you. But generally, the more weight that you have to lose, it's probably best that you take longer than 12 weeks. So be advised. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, who the fuck? You're probably wondering, who the hell is this guy and why should I listen to you? Well, my name is Riz and I've been a fitness coach for over 10 years. I've helped more than 100 people to shed some fat, build some muscle, build strength, and feel confident again in their clothes. So people like Elise, one of my oldest clients as well. So we have Z as well. Also another one of my oldest clients entering about 6th year. Then we have Alex. Then we have people like Sarah as well. One of my favorite clients that I trained in the past since in 2018. And we also have people like Jonathan as well, who was not just looking for losing weight, but focusing more on building muscle. Yeah, and plenty of other successful stories that you can read in my school community as well. So I have a lot of stories based on their journey, how they started, and their results and so on, which you can read in my school community. So when it comes to losing weight, I really hate the complicated stuff that you see out there online, okay? And there's a lot of BS out there that confuse the hell out of people. And especially when it comes to losing weight, you don't know whether you need to be eating this, you need to be in fasting, you need to be doing that, etc. But if you've seen my stuff on IG, I just give a direct information, just a practical approach that you can just immediately apply. So my approach to losing weight is simple. This is what I apply for all my clients. The approach is going to be practical, it's flexible, and also sustainable. And most importantly, it works after being repeated time and time again, provided you follow the instructions to the T. Now, let's get to the main part of the video. The exact step-by-step process on how exactly to lose 7 kg in the next 12 weeks. Here we go. All right. So how to lose 7 kg over the next 12 weeks in 2025 without losing muscle. Now, we have 7 steps, okay? I'm going to go through it one by one. So this step 1, you need to determine your maintenance calories. So meaning that you need to know what is your TDE, total daily energy expenditure. So this is a graph I stole from Google, and credit to Rebel Performance Nutrition. Very nice, well made and designed. So I'm just borrowing it. Okay, so anyways, so your total daily energy expenditure consists of your BMR, NEAT, exercise activity or EAT, and TEF, thermic effect of food. So I can go a long while lecture about this, but that's for another video for another time. So anyways, what you need to know is essentially everyone has their own total daily energy expenditure, meaning the amount of calories that you exert in one day. So you need to know what yours is. So there are 2 ways for you to find out how. So number 1, either you use an online calculator, where just look for tdecalculator.net or anything that you can find. Okay. Then, or number 2. So what you can do is you want to convert your body, you want to convert your body weight into pounds, and then you want to multiply it by 13 to 15, depending on your activity level. So this is an oversimplified approach. So which is why that these are going to be rough estimates. So let's say, for example, number 2, if you're weighing 100 kg, so you want to times it by 2.2, so you're 222 pounds. So you times it by, let's say you have a lower activity level, so you go for 13. So that means your maintenance calories is about 2,860. This is a rough estimate. If you're someone who has a higher activity level throughout the whole day, you walk around a lot, you go to the gym a few times a week, your steps is above 8,000, 10,000 steps a day. So maybe you want to times it by 15 instead. So maybe 220 times by 15, so about 3,300 calories. So these are a good range for you to play around with first. And then you need to make sure that you realize that this is just a rough estimate, okay? So it can be lower. So which is why that you need to weigh yourself every single day, especially in the morning. So then you want to write it down for 2 weeks. So then you want to compare the weekly average. So if you are consuming, let's say 2,860 calories, and then you see that your weight, weekly average does not change, so you are on your maintenance calories. If your weight is increasing after 2 weeks, your weekly average is increasing. So that means you are eating on a surplus. So you need to reduce your calorie a bit. Okay. So what we want to look for is make sure that we know that this is going to be your maintenance calories. So now, number 2, you want to determine your, okay, step number 2 you want to determine your calorie deficit. So in this example, so what we are going to do is, like I said, we gotta look for 7 kgs. Okay, so 7 kgs worth of fat. So roughly 1 kg of fat is equivalent to 7,700 calories. Now, if you want to be technical, actually it's roughly about 8,000 plus 8,200 and something. But for this example, because it's more well known, so 1 kg of fat is equivalent to 7,700 calories. Okay, so in 7 kg of fat, if you times 7,700 times by 7, you will get an equivalent about 53,900 calories. This is the amount of calories that you need to be on a deficit for you to lose about 7 kgs. Okay, so 53,900 calories, you divide it by 12 weeks, you're going to get about 4,491 calories per week that you need to be in a deficit in. 4,491 calories for a deficit divided by 7 days, you will get about 641 calories per day. A deficit you need to be in. So this is a rough estimate, like I said. So a good weight progress that you want to aim for is probably lose anywhere between 0.5 to 1% per week. But if you are on the track, so let's say, for example, you are at 2,860, you minus 641 calories. So you should be consuming about 2,219 calories. This is provided that you are just using food deficit, which is not going to be our approach. Okay, I'll explain next. This is step 3. Okay, so continuing on what I just said. Okay, so if you take too much deficit from food or too much deficit from cardio or workout, it's going to have a high risk of diet fatigue. So, which is where what's going to happen is that it's going to bring down your daily needs. So non-exercise activity thermogenesis and mess with your recovery. So what I mean by bringing down your need, or throughout the whole day, you'll tend to move less. And you'll notice that your step count will start to reduce. You'll fidget a bit less. So it is not something that we want. So there are ways to combat that, which I will get to after this. So it is not impossible to just have a large deficit from food. It is and have a large deficit from cardio. But the best result I've seen so far, we mix the cardio and food to get the best of results. The ratio will differ. Okay, so an example for this, since we need to be in a deficit of 641 calories per day, let's say we split it into slightly half. So we'll try 341 calories first that will come up from your diet. So based on that previous example, 2860 minus 341, you will be, your daily calorie intake will be about 2,519 calories. So the remaining 300 calories should be expended in the form of steady state cardio. I'm a big fan of cardio. I love my cardio. I get it through my steps, through my runs, bike, rowing, whichever form that you enjoy, which I'm going to explain step by. Now, step 4, you're going to set up your goal. Okay, I cannot elaborate. Step 4, set up your macro goal. So I cannot emphasize more how important protein is, which is why you see here 3 times protein, protein, protein. Protein is absolutely vital when you want to retain muscle when you are dieting. So this is where that you don't want to look skinny fat. This is where, if you want to look that toned figure that you are aiming for, that lean figure that you're looking for, you need protein. You need muscle underneath to show. Okay, so you will not get super bulky, so don't worry. So for now, you want to aim for anywhere between 1.8 to 2.6 grams of protein per kg of body weight. Depending on the individual, you can aim for the higher end. If the leaner you are, you want to aim for the higher amount of protein. The more overweight you are, you want to aim for a lower end of the protein. Okay, so a good aim for is usually anywhere between 2 to 2.2. But again, depending on the individual, you try it for yourself. So in terms of the fat loss phase, I usually put my carbs and fat ratio to be flexible based on my client. So as long as you don't have too little amount of fat, you should be good. It won't mess with your hormone intake. So, okay, yeah. So do whichever ratio that you can sustain to, which is why I put here. You want to keep the fat intake at least minimum 45 to 60 grams for a healthier hormonal balance in the dieting phase. Is this something that I've observed with, especially with my female clients? For guys, can go a bit lower, about 45 grams or maybe 30 to 45 grams, but your test level will start to deteriorate anything lower than that. So Here's a quick micro lessons in case you don't know. So 1 gram of protein is about 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is about 9 calories. 1 gram of carbs is about 4 calories. So let's talk about step 5. So this is where you want to set your cardio and daily step target. Very, very important. Okay. So for your step count, you can look at your phone health app. If you are wearing like a Garmin, Apple Watch, Fitbit, or whatever, it's even better as well. So that will, you can even get so cheap online. You can get like a lot of stuff like 100 ringgit or 100 ringgit plus that you can get just to monitor your step count. Okay. I'm not sponsored, but I personally prefer Garmin or an Apple Watch just because you can sync to my coaching app. Okay. So as a start, look at your phone health app. So whether you're using Samsung, whether you're using Apple, whatever app that you're using, it should have a health app. And if you carry your phone around, it will usually track your daily step. So you want to find what is your monthly step count average. Once you have found out, let's say for example, you're pretty sedentary, you don't move around a lot, your step count is about 3,000 steps per day, which is pathetic. So you want to start by increasing about 2,000 to 3,000 steps per day. So that will be your new daily step target. If you immediately go to 10K, this will probably mess you up because it will be too overwhelming every week. And if it's too overwhelming, you might give up immediately. So we don't want that. So you want to start as progression first. So whatever your daily step count is, start with 2,000 to 3,000 steps additional per day, and then we adjust accordingly from there. Okay. And this is extremely helpful while you want to combat metabolic adaptation when you are dieting. So when we are eating less, we tend to move less. So we want to keep the step count high. Okay, so your cardio. So you want to do a steady state form of cardio that you enjoy every day to burn the remaining of your calorie deficit target. So as an example, if you walk for 1 hour, it burns roughly about 250 to 300 calories, depending on the speed, depending on the incline, depending on your weight as well. But on a rough figure, it's about 250 to 300 calories. Or if you can choose to do a 60 minutes incline treadmill walk at level 11, and you go for about speed 6 kilometers per hour, it roughly burns about 600 calories, 500 to 600 calories. Again, depending on the individual. So you can choose which one that you enjoy the most. If you enjoy more doing bikes, if you enjoy swimming, that's up to you. Okay, step 6, extremely important. Okay, you skip this step, you're going to end up looking skinny fat. So you want to make sure that you train every muscle group at least 2 times a week over 3 to 5 workouts. So you want to make sure that you do, if you're short on time, you want to focus on just on compound movements. Okay, so compound movements like deadlift, bench press, squats. So these kind of movements targets a lot of muscle groups at the same time. So when you do bench press, you target your shoulder, your pecs, your tricep. When you do pull down, you do your upper back, your lats, your bicep. So a lot of this. So you do variations of bench press, shoulder press, pull down, rows, leg curls, squats. You can add a bit of core exercise as well. Entirely up to you. So all this variations should be included in the span of 3 to 5 workouts done 2 times a week. So if you're doing 3 to 5 workouts, but let's say you're doing 3 times a week. So you can do full body A, full body B, full body C. You can do upper day, lower day, upper lower. So the third day is upper lower day. Entirely how you want to design it. Okay, finally, step 7, you just need to be consistent and trust the process. Okay, there'll be times where your weight will start to plateau. And your weight will fluctuate. Sometimes it'll be higher, sometimes it'll be lower, which is why you need to track your weight on a daily basis. Okay, it can be annoying at times, especially when you weigh yourself, but the method is what? If you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose that weight unless you have a hormone issue which has already been identified by a doctor. If you tell me that you have not gone to see a doctor, that you don't have, and you tell me you have a thyroid issue, you have a hormonal issue, and then you simply just say that you have a hormone issue, I call bullshit. Okay, so unless a doctor is telling me that, then you don't have an issue. Okay, and if you're not losing weight, you are not in a calorie deficit. End of story. So your calorie deficit either comes from food or cardio or both. So look at the overall trend in the span of weeks and months rather than see the days in the progress that you're making. So like I said, zoom out. Don't focus on just what's your weight going to be tomorrow. See what your weight is going to be in the weekly average. So Monday to Sunday, add up your total weight and then and then divide by 7, see what is your weekly average weight. Then you compare it to week 2, compare it to week 3. If the trend is going down, you're solid. And make sure you take progress photo as well. Make sure you take measurements as well. So this is exactly how I got my clients to lose about 7 kgs in the span of 12 weeks. So that was a lot to cover, but that is exactly how I get my clients to lose about 7 kgs in the span of 12 weeks, with some adjustments along the way. So this is actually one part of my 3-step process on helping my clients to lose weight and keep it off forever. There's actually going to be a video about that as well, my 3-step process. The metabolic restoration phase, and then we have the fat loss sprint phase, which is what I just covered, and then we have the lifestyle integration phase. That's for another video, for another time. Okay, but anyways, so now that you've seen all of this, the way I see it, you have 2 choices. You can implement all this information by yourself, but you need to figure out what's the best training program for you to do based on your training abilities and so on, based on equipment available to you. And then you also need to figure out your calorie deficit, whether it's on track, when you should increase the calories, when you should reduce the calories, that kind of thing you need to figure out by yourself as well. And on top of that, you need to make sure that you keep track of your progress, and you need to make sure that you keep yourself accountable. No one else is going to do it for you. Or you can skip all that and get a coach to help you out with that process. If you decide to become a client, you'll have access to one of the best coaching apps out there, where your training program will be updated. It'll be customized to based on you, okay? Your schedule, your training ability, how many times you can train a week. It'll be unique, tailored to your situation. So your nutrition also will be reviewed on a weekly basis. So I will know based on the data that I collect on the questionnaire. So then I will know when I should increase your calories, decrease your calories, maintain, stuff like that. And then we have access to our weekly coaching calls. And then you will also have access to me in order to make sure that you are on track. I'll keep you accountable, and I'll make sure that you reach your fitness goals. If this sounds good to you, so what you need to do next is actually go to the link in the description below and book that assessment call. We have a call over Google Meet. So this is where we'll discuss on where you're currently at, what's your current situation, what's holding you back. And then we'll create a game plan to get you where you want to be at the end of the call. Because my time is limited, I can only work with a limited amount of clients. I'm looking to work with people who share the same values as myself and my current clients right now. So I'm only looking to work with people who are decisive and willing to invest in themselves. If that's not you, that's completely fine. Okay, no harm, no foul. Okay, but if that's you, and once we get on the call, I feel like we have a good vibe, and then we feel like we can work well together, then I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I'll give you your money back guarantee. So all you need to do now is just book the call through the description below. I'll see you in the next video.